We're following breaking news this morning. Police have the 1300 block of Guaymas Plaza shut down in northeast Albuquerque. They say a man there is threatening to shoot anyone he sees on the street. Police say it all started as a domestic violence call, then quickly escalated. Police are asking everyone who live on this street to stay in their homes. And we'll continue to bring you updates as the information becomes available. Well, drivers traveling in eastern New Mexico this weekend, watch out for water. NMRoads.com is reporting that part of New Mexico 294, the road between Fort Sumner and Clovis, is flooded because of recent storms. Portions of New Mexico 272 just south of Fort Sumner is also showing difficult driving conditions. Use caution or avoid those areas if you can. For a list of all flooded roads and updates on driving conditions, just go to our KRQE app. A group of people in Albuquerque say the alley behind their home is a magnet for crooks. They've put up surveillance cameras, but even those aren't helping. Now one man is taking security to a whole new level. News 13's Haley Rush reports.
Even with 8 cameras surrounding Alan Swain's duplex, this alley is still a stomping ground for criminals.
At night, the cockroaches come out and they look around, and when they see something they want, they just go and try and get it.
Just last night, Swain's cameras caught this. A group of people stealing all 4 tires from a truck.
That's been happening all around the neighborhood, people stealing just the tires off cars.
The video clearly shows a truck leaving the alley with a bed full of tires, and even a guy running back.
And I guess they forgot something when they were robbing the truck, so we're hoping that the police will be able to do something with that footage.
This is just the latest incident. Months back, Swain caught everything from someone attempting to steal a car to people doing drugs and others stealing.
I don't know why they picked this one since I have cameras and lights, but we're going to put a big old light up, and that's going to light this baby up.
He says his light is as powerful as a street light.
As you can tell at night, there's a little bit muddy footage, so we're going to light it up back here because we're tired of those criminal cockroaches coming into our neighborhood and thinking that they're going to get away with it.
He's also doubling his surveillance system. That's 16 cameras running 24/7.
More people are putting cameras in and more people are putting lights in, and we're going to do our best to help the police get rid of these criminals,
His main goal, to put a stop to Crime Alley and to make his neighborhood a place people want to call home. Haley Rush, KRQE News 13.
Swain says his goal is to eventually have cameras run through this entire alley. He says a few neighbors have already asked for him to set up surveillance systems by their homes. An Arizona woman will spend her life in prison for helping her lover kill her husband and then dump his body at the Sunport. According to the Daily Courier, Laura Stelmasek was sentenced to life without the chance of parole for her role in her husband Craig's murder. In 2011, she had her lover Marzette Ferris kill her husband and then leave his body in a van at the Sunport before he flew to meet her in North Carolina. Now, Ferris has also been convicted and is serving life without a chance of parole. A bouncer at an Albuquerque bar was arrested after police say he took things a little too far. APD says last month, a customer tried to break up a fight between 2 women at Leo's Bar on 12th and Candelaria. A bouncer that worked there, Samir Al-Aboudi, punched the guy in his face, breaking the man's nose in 3 places. Now, police say the victim needed surgery. The bouncer was arrested on Friday. He's now facing battery charges. The 2015 season of one of the most famous scenic railroads is now in full swing. Governor Susana Martinez was in Chama yesterday to celebrate 45 years of the state's joint ownership of the line Cumbres and Toltec with Colorado. Now, the railroad travels 64 miles, crossing between Antonito, Colorado, and Chama. A bittersweet milestone for the company trying to launch tourist space flights from New Mexico's spaceport. Virgin Galactic's new Spaceship 2 is now standing on its own landing gear at a factory in California. Its predecessor crashed in the Mojave Desert last Halloween during a test flight, killing one of the pilots. Virgin Galactic hopes to begin ground tests later this year and finally fly tourists to space from New Mexico in 2017. Memorial Day is a day we take time to honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for the U.S. At Arlington National Cemetery, soldiers have spent days placing more than 200,000 American flags on every fallen soldier's gravestone. Not far away at the National Mall, visitors are flocking to the World War II Memorial to remember and celebrate those who have passed.
Memorial Day isn't about barbecues and parties. I want them to know that it's about the guys who didn't get to come home, no matter what war they were in. There's a gentleman that's buried here that died with my brother.
Organizers in Washington have organized events through Memorial Day to celebrate the military and the veterans who lost their lives in battle. Ireland is making big waves. It is now the first country to approve same-sex marriage by popular vote. More than 60% voted in favor of the measure. Supporters say they're thrilled with the victory.
Majority of votes in favor of the proposal, 467,307.
This marks a major cultural shift for the once conservative Catholic country. Ireland is now the 12th country in the European Union to legalize same-sex marriage, but the only country in the world to do it at the ballot box. A Milwaukee man almost made it to a morgue before getting to a hospital. Police say the man's girlfriend called them because she hadn't heard from him in days. They say when an officer entered Thomas Sandcomb's apartment, they found the 46-year-old at the foot of his bed, cold and unresponsive. Sandcombe was pronounced dead, but police say 45 minutes later, as his body was about to be removed, he started moving again. Paramedics rushed him to a local hospital. He's now in good condition. We're following breaking news this morning. Police have the 1300 block of Guaymas Plaza shut down in northeast Albuquerque. They say a man there is threatening to shoot anyone he sees on the street. Police say it all started as a domestic violence call, then quickly escalated. They say the dispute was between the man and his wife, but the wife is now fine and with APD. Officers are still working to get the man to come out of his home. Police are asking everyone who lives on the street to stay inside, and we'll continue to bring you updates as the information becomes available. A 7-year-old child is dead and several other people are hurt after a crash south of Carlsbad in Eddy County. Police say yesterday a van with 2 adults and 7 children was traveling on US 62 180 when a rear tire blew, causing the driver to lose control. The van rolled into the median. 2 of the 7 kids were ejected from the van. Police say they weren't properly strapped in. One of the kids, a 7-year-old, died at the scene. Both adults and 6 kids were taken to a hospital in El Paso. Only 1 child has been treated and released. Police say they don't believe speed or alcohol were a factor. Well, he's supposed to be their father, but instead deputies say he's setting a different example, taking his kids along for his crime sprees. As News 13's Cole Miller reports, this isn't the first time.
Deputies weren't buying Jason Heidel's story, and now he's behind bars. Deputies say Heidel was stealing pipe from this business, HD Water Supply, near 2nd and Montano. According to a criminal complaint, Heidel cut out a chunk of fence at a nearby apartment complex to sneak in. He told deputies he was getting the pipe from a nearby ditch bank. But when deputies called HD Water Supply, the manager said $4,500 worth of stuff was missing. Deputies say Heidel's 3 kids, ages 15, 13, and 12, were all with him. In court today, the judge learned those kids have accompanied him in 2 other crimes since December. That judge made one thing very clear: stay away from them.
If the court finds that you're having contact with these minor children while this case is pending before this court, I will remand you into custody on a cash-only bond. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, sir.
And Heidel has a long criminal past, including forgery and shoplifting convictions. We're told now that those kids are with their grandmother. Cole Miller, KRQE, News 13.
Deputies say Heidel also did about $800 worth of damage to that apartment complex's fence. He's facing larceny and child abuse charges. Authorities are still looking for this wig-wearing wannabe thief. The guy was wearing a wig and a fake brown beard when he tried to rob the Wells Fargo inside the Albertsons on Lomas and Wantabo. Now, he didn't get any cash and had a getaway driver waiting in a navy blue Ford Explorer. If you recognize him, please call the FBI. And the FBI is looking for another man who they say robbed the Wells Fargo on Montgomery in Wantabo Saturday afternoon. He's described as black, around 40 to 50 years old, and about 5'7". He wore sunglasses, a light-colored baseball hat, and a light-colored hoodie. A Colorado State Patrol cadet is dead and a trooper is injured after being hit by a car. According to Colorado State Patrol, the two were investigating a crash on Highway 66 Saturday when a vehicle drove into the scene. They say the cadet tried to use stop sticks to alert the driver, but the car plowed into the two of them. The cadet was killed. The state trooper was taken to the hospital. The driver was arrested. It's going to cost you more to visit White Sands National Monument. Starting October 1st, visitors will pay $5 for a week-long pass. That's up $2. An annual pass to the park will increase to $10 from $20 to $30. Kids 15 and under are still free. Park officials say the price hike is necessary to fund maintenance, visitor services, and projects within the monument. A movie shoot will shut down downtown Portales this week. Parts of 1st and 2nd Streets will be closed Tuesday so that crews can film Comancheria. The modern-day Western stars Chris Pine, Jeff Bridges, and Ben Foster. It's about a divorced dad and his ex-con brother trying to save their family's farm. The temporary closures will take place between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. There will be crews directing traffic in the area. And a heads up, if you take the bus or we're hoping to grab a ride on the New Mexico Rail Runner tomorrow, both ABQ Ride and the Rail Runner will not be running on Memorial Day. Sunvan Service, which provides transportation for the disabled and impaired, will also not be running. Now, if you use them, make alternate plans. Bus services will be back to normal Tuesday. Memorial Day weekend traditionally marks the opening of pools in most communities. With that in mind, safety officials want to remind everyone pools can be deadly. According to the latest data, drowning remains the top cause of unintentional death for kids ages 1 through 4.
And it's not like the movies. It's not where you see somebody splashing and screaming for help to get your attention. Drowning is a silent killer. They go under and it's over.
Officials say pools at home should be surrounded by fencing on all 4 sides, along with a locked gate. They add parents should have a talk with their kids about pool safety. 6,852, and that's the number of U.S. service members killed in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The Congregation of Grace Place Church in Enterprise, Alabama, is paying tribute to them this Memorial Day weekend by placing American flags on the church's lawn, one for each of those killed. It's an emotional experience for those hammering the flags into the ground, as well as those visiting the site.
It was hard. You know, I had a lot of friends that passed away that were over there, and they gave their life for everything that we do here in the United States, for everybody in the whole wide world. So being here is definitely it's touching, it's heartwarming.
The tribute will remain on display through Tuesday morning. Decades after the end of the Vietnam War, a war hero is finally being laid to rest, thanks to efforts by his son.
If there's one word to describe today, it's celebrating a life well lived.
Dozens of people turned out to bid a formal farewell to Air Force Tech Sergeant Luis Cleaver. And Cleaver and 9 others were shot down over Laos in 1969 during a secret mission. They were all listed as missing in action. Cleaver's son was only 6 when his father vanished. Years later, his son asked the military to reopen the case, but his request was denied. 3 years ago, his son and his wife went to Laos and found the crash site and remains of his father. And when members of his team, Sergeant Cleaver's remains now rest beside his wife. New Mexico is recognizing thousands of women who worked at railroad stops across the Santa Fe railway line. The New Mexican reports Governor Susana Martinez and the mayors of Santa Fe and Albuquerque are declaring today as Harvey Girls Day. The Harvey girls worked as waitresses in Fred Harvey dining rooms at stops along what was then a new railway route. The Harvey House in Belen is one of the original Harvey houses and is now a museum. Dogs with